citizens! It is good to be back. I apologize for the infrequency of my videos over the past few months, but as it turns out, starting a small business is kind of time-consuming. So I'm officially dropping down to only doing 2 vlogs per month, but never fear, I won't abandon you completely. I'm super excited because today is the last Wednesday of the month, which means it's time for another reading roundup. Let's start off with Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I began reading this book a while ago and only recently got around to finishing it, and I'm really glad that I did because it's one of those books that starts off pretty normal and you think you kind of know where the story's going, and then bam, there's a huge twist that takes you to a whole new world and shifts the story in a completely different direction. The spoiler-free summary is that there's this kid named Jacob who travels to a small island off the coast of Wales to search for the orphanage that his grandfather grew up in, where there may or may not have been a lot of children with peculiar abilities. The story is told through a mixture of photos and words, and a lot of the characters and narrative were actually inspired by weird, surreal vintage photographs like these ones that the author collected from garage sales and thrift stores. Overall, the book has a really interesting X-Men meets supernatural kind of feel to it, and I'd really recommend it to anyone who likes dark, creepy sci-fi. Speaking of sci-fi, I also read the first 2 volumes of Saga by Vaughan and Fiona Staples. It had been a while since I'd read any graphic novels, but after reading Saga, holy crap, I don't know why I stopped. The story follows 2 lovers from opposite sides of a galactic war and their quest to raise a daughter in a world that is constantly trying to kill them. I've seen it frequently compared to Star Wars, and it definitely has the same kind of epic space fantasy vibe to it. So far, the series is smart, sexy, sarcastic, and entirely wonderfully strange. There were multiple times when I turned the page and I was like, what the hell am I looking at? But even with how weird it was, everything seemed to make sense in the context of the world, which is a huge testament to the writing. Fair warning, it is rated M for pretty much every possible reason, and while I personally didn't find any of the content offensive, I can totally see how some people might. The 3rd volume just came out last week, and I will be picking up a copy as soon as I can. I have also been reading the Filmmakers Handbook by Ascher and Edward Pincus, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because A, it's not really relevant to the general literary audience, and B, I haven't finished it yet anyway. Even though this is the revised and updated edition, it was still published in 1999, which means at this point it's somewhat outdated in terms of the technology and equipment that it references. However, the sections on technique and style in regards to composition and camera movement and lighting and stuff like that are all still relevant, so I've been focusing mainly on those while viewing the rest of the more dated material as somewhat of an interesting history lesson. So do you have any suggestions on what I should read next? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I will be back in 2 weeks with another vlog, but until then, stay literary. Because today is the first Wednesday of the month, or the last Wednesday of the month, but as it turns out, I suck at this. That the author found while collecting at grocery stores. Nope. By Ascher and that other guy, Edward Price. Not Edward Price, Edward Pincus. Sorry, dude.